Well, good morning, Holly. How are you?
Yeah, better than I deserve as always.
Well,
And
this
you?
is this is our session of just talking, where we do
Yeah.
interviews with various people, and it's very important that I interview you because you're the health consultant for our newsletter. So why don't we start with beginnings? I'm going to let you formally introduce yourself, your full name, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I am Holly Hiebert, and I live in the Tuscaloosa, Alabama area currently. I was born and raised in Alabama, a little bit north of here, Blount County. And so I'm Southern as cornbread. Matter of fact, that was my nickname growing up. So I love the South. I love Alabama, but my father is British. So I have a lot of fun with international studies and things like that. I have a great love for health because I was rescued uh, from all kinds of things. I had health problems. We've suffered through addictions, things like this. So it's been quite a journey. So for me to stand here today is a miracle, and I have a passion for helping people do the same, whether that be something as simple as changing their diet or something as extensive as managing their pain. So currently we run
Okay,
and
now hold a minute.
lead.
Oh, take a breath. That's a good place to take a breath right there.
Uh-huh.
We actually met each other when I was visiting
Yes,
Tuscaloosa,
right.
last at the end of last year, and you were doing a health seminar and pushing it. And I said, wait, I need someone to do some health talks in our for our newsletter because I was putting in just a thought.
Sure.
And you said yes, you would be able to do it, and you're excited about doing it. So we've had two newsletters. Have we had two newsletters? But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think so.
we've done two newsletters now. Tell us a little bit about your training, your background.
Yeah, so what landed us here at Cornerstone was a very awesome series of events, but my biggest, most profound, I guess, training was when I worked at Living Springs Retreat in Roanoke, Alabama, and that was underneath Barbara O'Neill, the world-renowned naturopath. So for me, that was a great experience. I worked also under lots of other different naturopathic
Mhm.
lifestyle counselors and trainers and things like that. So, hands-on experience has been my biggest training, and it's been just absolutely priceless.
Let me ask you this. Uh, there are a lot of opinions out there about Barbara O'Neill, but there are a lot of people who actually would just take an oath by her treatments. Um,
Mm.
how did you actually start in this whole interest in holistic health?
That is the neatest story. My oldest son, I'm the mother of four boys, and my oldest son, his name is Austin, and he was probably about 9 years old, and we were visiting Little Country Church, and he decided he wanted to give his heart to the Lord. And whenever he was baptized, he was also going through ADD, ADHD symptoms.
Okay.
And when we were at church, I stood up and I gave a prayer request, and I said, "My son is really struggling and he doesn't like the way the medication makes him feel." It was, I guess, some sorts of Ritalin or something along those lines that the doctor had prescribed for him. And he just hated it. And he was only 9, 10 years old, and in public school at that time. So I stood up and I asked for a prayer request. Well, this sweet little lady uh, asked, and actually there was no big circle of people who knew a lot about health in this church. So it was a sheer miracle. It was not even a church that would have been known for holistic and natural treatments.
Mhm.
So she said, "Well, I have a book for you." And she heard my prayer request, and it was like something maybe God's healing way for ADD.
Mhm.
And sure enough, I opened it up and she says, "I think this is really going to help you." She had had the same issues with her children.
Mhm.
So it was simple things like increase their water, reduce their sugar intake,
Mhm.
stop giving them red food coloring. And so I just went, "Oh, so it's about what we're doing." I did not know, you can't catch ADD from a toilet seat or a sink in the public bathroom. So
Mhm.
for me, that was mind-boggling that it could be that simple. And sure enough, we we increased his water and started keeping lots of water bottles around the house. And I sent him outside, "Get outside, boy." And it wasn't long, and things improved. Things greatly improved. So he was able to come off his medication. So that was really the start. I could go on and on about my personal experiences, but then we would not have anything else scheduled for the day, because I would keep you here all day.
Okay, I'm not going to let you keep us all day, but tell us one personal experience with the one that you can do in a very short order. You can just summarize it real tightly. One.
Okay. So my biggest experience with the holistic way was not only being delivered from addiction and having that victory, but was I did not grow up as an academic. I did not excel in school. I did not have good grades, anything like that. And matter of fact, I did not graduate high school. I had to go back later and get my GED. So whenever I moved in with a nice family that knew about good health and diet and lifestyle, and they introduced me to those things. And I went to CNA school with the Red Cross, and I graduated at the top of that program.
Wow.
I did not study for my final exam. I think I missed one on my final exam, and I had just recently changed my whole lifestyle. I'd lost 30 pounds. My brain, I'd come off of coffee. Uh, my mind was excelling, and I had never experienced that. I've always been a, real high energy person, but ooh, this was something else for me to be able to be the top of my class. It was exciting. My brain was literally regenerating.
That had to be something that was simply amazing.
It was
amazing, simply amazing.
Yeah.
So from CNA school, then where?
Yeah, I went to a little place called Wildwood, Georgia.
Okay.
And I worked with an invalid. And because of my CNA training, I was able to work under another naturopath from Uchee Pines. And she was my invalid in-home care patient. I was her full-time CNA. I was able to work directly under her. So I learned herbal applications. I learned how to cook better and prepare foods better. I learned how to go all raw. All these little things that I just hands-on, man, hands-on. It was the coolest experience.
So wait, let's fill in our audience because they may not have caught what you said. So both Wildwood and Uchee Pines
and Living Springs.
And Living Springs, they're all what we call them wellness centers.
We call them wellness centers, lifestyle centers, treatment for lifestyle diseases such as diabetes or heart disease. Sometimes people go with cancer and they come out completely in remission, even with no actual chemotherapy and no radiation, all natural ways. It's pretty miraculous. Yeah.
Okay. So what is now? Let's bring it home. What is the name of give us the name of your facility?
Okay. So this is Cornerstone of Health, and that is, like I said, Tuscaloosa. So we do a little bit of everything. We take a patient if they want to come in and have a weekend or a week and just have a health spa situation. We do pain management. We definitely show people how to cook and juice. I have a passion for juicing, stuff like that.
So if somebody wanted to come just for a good maintenance checkup, right now they don't have any health issues that they're aware of, but they just need a chance to rejuvenate their bodies. How long would a good session be for them? Is that a week session?
Minimum of 3 days. 3 days. You could get away with one if you just wanted to come and do a day trip, and I could show you some boosting things to do at home. But if you really want to reboot and have no crazy maintenance, crazy health conditions, sure, 3 days would be great. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now let's take something very simple, your choice, something very simple that just like the woman gave you 3 suggestions for your son: more water, no red dyes, and cut out the sugar. And you saw an almost instantaneous improvement. Give our listeners an example of maybe 3 things right off, three issues that people are dealing with right off the top of your dome, your head, that if they made these very fundamental changes, simple changes, they could see a significant difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there is one across the board remedy that works, and that is increasing water.
Okay.
All the time. That is probably the most neglected health remedy that anyone can really struggle with. None of us really like water. I mean, when we first start out, but I love it now. But I would say that water intake is probably the worst, the most challenging thing that people can change. And so if we weigh 100 pounds, we need a minimum of 50 ounces per day just for maintenance. If we weighed 400 pounds and we were considered obese, you would need a good 200 ounces per day all throughout the day. And
So wait, wait,
so,
wait. So what you're saying is a person should take their weight
yes,
and divide it by 2,
yes,
and that's the number of ounces that they need to drink every
right.
day. Okay, okay.
Now, I will piggyback on that and say, even if we had to skip number 2 for the sake of time, I would say that not only chugging that water in, the brief description is whenever a desert gets flooded,
Uh-huh.
the ground is still hard and brittle.
Mm-hmm.
We are made of dirt. So, you know, the fact is yes, you could take all 60 ounces, be like, I got my 60 ounces in today, I got my 80 ounces in. Yeah, but then your kidneys were dumping into the bladder, and then the bladder was dumping into the latrine, and on it goes, and you're not hydrating at a cellular level. So the simplicity of it is, if we eat the Celtic salt on the tongue, and you can find this information anywhere online, and the research is there. You just take Celtic salt. No, it's not dangerous if you have blood pressure issues, just a little bit, and it does not shoot your blood pressure up. Just a little on the tongue lets it absorb into the mucous membranes.
Mm-hmm.
The magnesium goes into the cell.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's just like a salt shaker on the Mexican restaurant table. They put rice in it to keep it from absorbing moisture. So if you have the magnesiums in your body and your cells are happy filled with magnesium, you put the water in, it goes and just brings it into the cell.
Okay.
So then you're not peeing all day long.
Okay.
I'm serious, because that's really most people's problem. I cannot sit on the toilet all day long. I will not do it. Well, then I'm sorry, dear. You're probably going to have high blood pressure if you don't hydrate. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right. Let's slow this
Yes.
down now and let's dissect what you just said. So this Celtic talk with salt, we're talking about
Uh-huh.
maybe just 1 or 2 granulars, right?
Yeah.
That's all. Are we placing?
Maybe 2 times a day, maybe 4.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's take it step by step. Are we putting
Yeah.
it on top of the tongue or under the tongue?
You can put it on top. It
Okay.
absorbs into it. Yeah.
All right. So we put the 2 granules or so of the Celtic salt on top of the
Right.
tongue. And now we know we have to drink 60 ounces, okay? Or maybe 65 ounces, or 70, whatever the
Okay.
number of ounces.
Sure.
So should we plan to divide the ounces
Yeah.
by maybe 4? And
Yeah.
so 4 times a day, we're going to use the Celtic salt?
Right. Yeah, because you want to try to stop drinking your water about half an hour before your meal. And then about 1 to 2 hours after your meal, that's when you want to really start, having your midday doses of your water.
All right. So what you're saying is we don't want to gulp it down at one setting. We want to literally, as it were, sip it all through the day.
Well, yeah, and the first thing in the morning, it is actually good to go ahead and do a flush. You can chug that 6 ounces and let your body go ahead and do a good flush first thing in the morning, but you don't want to do that all day. It's excellent to sip it all day long.
Okay, so the next thing is people talk about whether or not the water should be hot, cold, room temperature. What's the best?
From our research, we like room temperature or warm, because your body is 98.6 degrees. You put anything in there that's less than that, your body actually has to go, the water that just came in is a different temperature. It has to take away from the other functions to warm that water. So
All right.
it's your
Yeah.
choice. You know what? If you can't drink room temperature water, drink it anyway. Drink something. Sure, make it cool if you have to. Don't not do it just because of one little, right? Do what you can.
All right, now here's my issue. Yeah, I can get the water down, but I just love to put a tea bag in it. But I won't put the sugar or the honey in it. It's just the tea bag or lemon to give it some flavor. Now, am I still meeting my water intake by?
You're not really meeting the water intake, because a lot of times herbs are drying because they are a medicine. The Bible says in Psalm 104, verse 14, that herbs were given for the service of man. So they are a medicine. And so your body actually has to go and get more hydration to put that medicine where it goes. It's not that it's bad. Yeah, you're increasing your liquids. It's going to help your bowels, but however, I wouldn't count that necessarily as your water intake. But start where you can, right?
Okay. All right. What about putting some lemon in it?
Oh, absolutely. Lemon
All
is
right.
great. Now, unless you have teeth problems, then you could wear away
Okay.
your enamel.
All right. So in order for me to get down all of my ounces, it's of my choices, if I can't drink it straight, is this the only really preferred thing to put in it, a tad of lemon? not the
Yeah,
key.
lemon is good. One thing Barbara Neal was talking about, just a little bit of peppermint drops. You put just
Okay,
the right amount of safe peppermint drops that are, they can call it vitality
okay,
mix. It's allowed to be in the body and it's safe. That
okay,
gives you a little flavor, And you might have some diluted peppermint tea within your water. Sure. Do a little bit of diluted peppermint tea.
okay. What about garlic?
I mean, garlic's definitely going to be a serious medicine. Your body's going to need a lot of water to handle that. And a lot of times people have garlic problems with their tummy. It's going to feel burning. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I've just learned something. I hope you all listeners have learned the same thing. Well, we've learned three things. Number one, we've learned that we need to take our weight, divide it by half, and that's the number of ounces that we need to consume of water every day. Number
Yeah.
two, we've learned that when we drink water, we don't want to put anything in the water that actually requires the body to address it. So for someone like me who likes to put tea in the water, probably not a good idea. But we could put lemon in the water, and that's a great way to give the water a flavor, but it doesn't require the body to have to deal with any medicinal medicine issues. Okay. And the fourth thing is that we want when I start the morning with a good flush, so drink as much water as, so wait a minute. If I drink as much water, all right, no, let me phrase the question. If I'm supposed to drink a total of 65 ounces a day, that's half
Uh-huh.
the weight, theoretically. I don't want to drink 65 ounces first thing in the morning, right?
Yeah. Right. Of
So I
course.
just
No,
want to,
you might start out with 4 ounces, 6 ounces. I go to bed with a thermos full of warm
right,
lemon water, you
right.
know,
Mhm.
and when I do get up in the middle of the night, I like to drink a little bit more water than some will be comfortable with at night. I
Okay,
don't mind that.
okay,
Um, I don't usually eat anywhere past 5 or 6 minimum.
okay.
When I go to bed, I love a tummy full of warm water, so that's
Okay,
just
that
me.
just made me feel better. So the bottom line is I just need to get down my half of my body weight in water for the 24 hours. And
Yeah.
we know
Like I
that,
say, in the morning, I like to chug about 4 to 6 ounces,
okay,
and then I might go to the restroom, do my devotional, whatever. I come back, I'll have 4 or 5. And a lot of times I do my green juices in the morning. And I will input this on the water thing. You said, well, can you get water down if it has something in it? I do green juices, and
okay,
I'm blending those green juices with extra water. So
okay.
if I have cilantro water, parsley water, that doesn't really turn into an herbal tea. That really is just chlorophyll water. So I do count some of that as my water intake because I put so much, I'm not juicing it through a juicer. I'm blending it and straining it with extra water, filtered
It's,
water.
it's almost like we're infusing it. So at night
Yes,
when we
it
go
is.
to bed, if we
It's
just
more of
put
an
our
infusion.
cilantro, okay, if
Right.
we just put something in the water, but it has to be green, something green.
Well, I like it. I'll do beets sometimes. I'll
Okay,
do
okay.
cabbage. I'll do carrots. I'll do, all kinds of different things. And I may have a carrot blend and I may have a green blend in my fridge. And in the mornings after I drink my big glass of water, I'll go have a glass of green water,
Okay.
or purple water.
All right. So the bottom line of it is, bottom line, we must get down one half of our weight in water, preferably closest to pure water as we can. And if we have to flavor it with lemon or flavor it
And
with
peppermint.
and
Yeah.
peppermint. You have to check your measurements on that.
Yeah.
Watch the lemon for the enamel on your teeth. And then
Yeah.
if you use, sounds like we're only using vegetables. You can flavor it with a vegetable, celery, carrots, beets. This is not juicing. You do not.
Right. And I have seen a lot of people have great success with the infusions with like
Okay.
blueberries and things. They'll put the little infusing thing in
Okay.
there.
Okay.
I figure you're getting it in, get it in,
Okay.
honestly,
All right.
you
That's
know.
the first thing. All right. What's the second thing that we can do that we will immediately see results?
Okay, we need oxygen. We need better breathing, and we've got to start focusing on what it takes to breathe in and out of the nose. And I believe that if our mental is not doing it optimal situation, then the rest of the body is going to suffer. So when we get enough oxygen into our brain, the nose filters the air. The nose humidifies the air. The nose prevents the carbon dioxide that you're breathing out from going right back into your own mouth. So if I go, I'm actually just breathing in the carbon dioxide that I breathed out. But the nose was so brilliantly made by our creator that he figured out how to stop that And so when you breathe in and out, all these years we were told to breathe out of our mouth. Breathing in and out of my nose has been a game changer.
Now, that's really interesting because we were talking to, we had a conversation with we had a conversation with another expert, and they were saying when you're going through a panic attack or you need to just calm down, he was saying, let's breathe in with our nose, try to count while you do that, and then open your mouth, let it out. Just do that.
And this is newer research. They did prove over about the last maybe 5 years or something. They've had more research that came out, and it's been proven to. Barbara O'Neill has all the research on that. She's a great researcher. Okay, I don't, not that none of us can make mistakes, but she has done her research. So if you have any doubts on that, feel free, follow her stuff, and she'll explain all of it.
All right, so let's slow it down. Let's show our listeners how we're supposed to breathe. Let's do a learning exercise. I'm doing it with
Ideally, you want to go in for 5. You want to hold it at a minimum of 3.
Okay, all right, come on. All right, let's do it. So I'm supposed to breathe in. Let's do it together. I'm breathing in.
And just that repetition.
Wait. I held my breath for the whole time. That wasn't what I was
so I was trying to give you the instructions. So so it's 5 in, and then you want to hold for at least 3. You can hold a little longer.
So am I breathing out my nose? That's what I'm missing.
Yes. So you want to go 5, 3, 5.
Okay. All right, audience, listeners, let's do it. We're breathing in for 5, and then we're going to exhale through our nose for 3. Everybody ready? Now breathe out.
No, you're going to hold for 3 and then out for 5.
Wait. Okay, I'm not getting
this. So it's 5, 3, 5.
No, the 3. What am I doing on the 3? Breathing
out. Hold.
Okay, well then what am I doing for 5?
Breathe out for 5.
Oh, okay. So am I starting breathing in or breathing out?
So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in. Hold. 1, 2, 3. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So no mouth work. Okay, all right, listeners, if I got it, I think you got it. We're going to go out for 5. We're going to out.
In 5, hold 3, out 5.
In 5, that's breathing in. All right.
Controlled breathing in, hold, controlled breathing out.
Okay, so it's in for 5, out for 3, back in.
Nope, in, like you got to hold it for 3. Don't move for 3.
Okay, I'm doing it backwards somewhere. I am not. Okay, I'm having a real time here. All right.
You didn't have your readings this morning.
All right, so I need some more water in my brain. All right.
Yeah.
So
it does make a difference when you hold it, because it's very much. I don't know. It's like shoving the oxygen in there. It makes a difference.
I'm breathing in. I breathed in. Oh, I know. Breathe in and hold, then exhale.
Right.
That's what's
hold.
Okay.
Yeah, hold in for 3 and then out for 5.
Okay. All right, let's go. Breathe in for 5. Okay, I've got to teach myself not to breathe through my mouth though, because I want to go.
Right. And there are things you can do. Research that on your own time. I know, but a lot of times just stretching the nasal passages out, just real gentle. And sometimes I'll use a nose strip when I sleep. I love those. They're like $19 at Costco for a box that'll last you a long time.
And why are we doing that?
So at night, I have a little bit of a closed, I guess, deviated septum or whatever. It's a little bit of congestion. So when you put the nasal strip on top of the nose, it pulls it outward just ever so slightly. Oh. I feel like I can breathe. It's wonderful. Oh, okay. They don't irritate my skin. Oh my goodness, they're a lifesaver.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we've done water, we've done breathing, and our third one, and then we'll do a part 2. All right. Okay. What's this one?
So number 3 is just the general laws of health. We love those. Obviously, look at those. But I would say when we control what we are eating and when we're eating, what and when we're eating.
Okay.
So you want to increase those veggies, increase those legumes, nuts, seeds, healthy fats.
Mhm.
You want to decrease all the animal fats that you can. You want to attempt to reduce or eliminate all all animal fats and
Mhm.
find good alternatives. It has been shown that animal fats are, uh, they really do help cancer thrive,
Mhm.
unfortunately. And so
Mhm.
you have to watch that. And I know it's not the same days we lived in the days of our forefathers where the meats were healthier. We need to really look at what we're taking into our bodies. And so when I said when we're eating, preferably I have a very large meal in the morning. I eat like a king. I eat like a queen at lunch, and very, very few times do I have dinner at night. I might have my last meal at 3 o'clock. I might have my last meal at 4 o'clock. And then if I'm just starving, if I really, really feel hungry, I might have a grapefruit close to bedtime, maybe a banana. But generally, I have gotten so much nutrition early in the morning. And by the way, Judith, that's a great time to have your tea in the evenings.
Oh,
Enjoy
thank you
that
for giving
tea
me
at
my
night.
teas. I wanted my tea.
Right. And go ahead and put your honey in it, because if you skip dinner, that's dinner, right? You
Okay.
know, so that's a great time to have your chamomile tea, put a little honey in it, a little splash of lemon, indulge then, and then you get your tea. But yeah, so what you're eating and when you're eating, don't eat between meals. Just don't. It's so worth it, because if you do that, you give your digestion system about a 4 to 5 hour rest between, because the body can only really do one thing at a time. And if you eat consistently, then you got food in the tummy low down, and then your brain goes, oh, it's time to start digestion up here. It leaves this stuff low down,
Mm.
and it putrefies, and then it makes the blood toxic. So it's totally worth it, man. If you can get full at breakfast and then plan that you're going to eat, and when you have that Celtic salt and water between meals, you tend to not feel as hungry. You
Yeah,
just do.
but listen what you just said, my
Yeah,
friend.
I know.
I'm gonna eat a huge breakfast, and that's
Yeah,
gonna carry me to probably 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm good with that.
sure. Sure. Yeah.
And let's see, what time are we having breakfast? 9-ish, 8, 9-ish.
Mhm.
Let's do this. We're gonna do a full 5 hours, minimum of a full 5 hours
Yeah.
between
Now
now.
that's from when you stop eating.
Yeah, stop
That's
eating. That's fine.
after, yeah, yeah. Once you stop eating, go, it's about 10, 15,
Okay,
I'm done
so
with
we're
my
gonna go.
breakfast.
All right, so we're gonna go a full 5 hours till we have our next meal. And then the question is, let's say that next meal, 5 hours from 10:30 would be 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30. So let's say by 4:30, 5 at the latest, I have finished eating everything that I'm going to eat that requires me to chew. And you
Yeah.
tell me that I'm not going to have any, I'm going from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock the next morning.
Well, no, yeah, because here's the beauty of it. You're doing basically an intermittent fast, and that's so good for the body. And so that's why I said the water and the Celtic salt, you're going to be sleeping anyway if you're sleeping like you're supposed to. So those 8 hours that you're supposed to be asleep, you're not going to feel hungry. But I have so much good plant fats and proteins in my food that I don't get hungry really in between meals. But
Okay.
it might take some getting used to, but it's baby steps, right? It's just
All
baby
right.
steps.
All right. We're going to do part two in a minute, but let's summarize part one.
Mhm.
First of all, we are to increase our water. We are to drink 1/2 of our body weight in water per day. We are to try to keep our water as pure as possible. So we may infuse it and we may put lemon in it, but we're not supposed to put anything in it that the body will think as a medicine. So that means avoid teas that are, for lack of a better word, healing teas. Number two, we are to breathe. And the newest research is showing that we breathe in and out of our noses. We don't open up our mouth. So we breathe in for a count of 5. We hold it for 3. Then we exhale 4 or 5 through the nose. I think I got that right. And then we are to move to a plant-based diet, removing as much animal, in fact, all animal products and byproducts of animals as we can. And then we are to pay attention to when we eat, which means that we want to have a full 4 to 5 to 6 hours between meals. And when we finish that last meal, which should be midday, sometime before 6 o'clock, we don't eat again until the next morning. Is that a good summary of what we just learned?
You got it, sister.
Now, tell our viewers how they can reach you again. Give us your name, give us your wellness center's name, give them where and how they contact you.
Okay, so first of all, you want to go to cornerstoneofhealth.org, and our phone number is on there, and our address is on there, and our email is on there. I personally utilize Facebook very much. It is my social outlet to my closest friends. I use it for my community events. I'm very connected with my local. I don't accept friend requests unless I somehow know you specifically. So I'm very connected with my Facebook friendships.
Mm-hmm.
And although I have 25,000 followers, I just somehow managed to keep it just friends. So please reach out to me directly on Facebook. My name is Holly Hiebert on there. So you can find me there, or you can connect with Cornerstone of Health on Facebook. So one of those ways is great. Forgive me, the phone number, I believe, it's a Google Voice number, 205-210.
Don't miss it.
But anyway, it's on the website. So
Okay.
yeah. So
right.
that is the official business number of Cornerstone. You may call that at any time and text. There's no excuse not to get in touch. All the information's there. So.
All right. We will have an ending slide to this presentation, listeners, with all of that information. This finishes part 1. If you don't listen to part 2, but you just do what you just learned in part 1, based on what Holly's just said, you're going to see a significant improvement and difference just with that. All right.
Very cool.
Holly, thank you so very much. And now we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more in detail about some specific health concerns. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Very good.